Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, February 1, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what did that be like in your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the day in your specific area. Alright, so as usual, we're going to be looking at what the latest Euro and the latest GFS supercomputer models are showing for the next 168 hours. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp as we go out to that time period. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So we can see that as we head into Sunday, we definitely have less rainfall for sure, and we've been grateful for the rainfall that we've been experiencing for the past couple of days. We'll definitely take it. It's a dry season, so any rainfall at this time is very much welcome, and it seems like February might be a bit wet, and if it actually comes to fruition like what the models are showing, that would be very beneficial. So we can see Sunday, we have some dots of greens, especially across some southern and western parishes by the end of the day. Monday, we see northeastern parishes getting in on some morning rainfall, section of eastern, central, and western parishes during the afternoon on Monday. Very interesting, according to this latest Euro. Tuesday morning, some rainfall across the northeastern section of the island, spilling into section of central and western Jamaica during Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, still northeastern Jamaica with that morning rainfall, then spilling into section of central and western Jamaica during Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, still northeastern Jamaica with that morning rainfall. Then during the afternoon, it's still that central and western parishes are getting in on the afternoon rainfall. Very interesting. That's a consistent pattern for the next 7 days. Friday, eastern Jamaica morning rainfall, afternoon central and western parishes. And then we're going to be stopping it right here on Saturday, February 8, 2025, and we can see some rainfall for the morning. 12:00 on Saturday is actually 7 a.m. and we do see some dots of greens across the northeast. Very interesting. Let us match what we just saw on the latest Euro to the latest GFS. Let's see if we have some consensus. Heading into Sunday, not seeing much for the morning, but at the end of the day, just like what the Euro was showing, maybe some isolated afternoon rainfall across the southern sections of the island. Heading into Monday though, northeastern parishes with that morning rainfall, and then by the end of the day we see some moisture to the south of the island. We still have that moisture on the northeastern side. Tuesday morning rainfall on the northeastern side of the island, then across sections of some southern parishes during Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, northeastern parishes with that rainfall, spilling into sections of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. Thursday, northern and eastern parishes in the morning with that rainfall, spilling into sections of central and western Jamaica during Thursday afternoon. Friday, eastern Jamaica with some rainfall, maybe affecting sections of some southern parishes during Friday afternoon. And then we're going to be stopping it right here on Saturday, February 8, 2025. And we also see some greens across the northeastern sections, just like what the Euro was showing for Saturday, next week Saturday. Very interesting. We also see some moisture here and there across the Caribbean, Central America, right here, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua. Very interesting forecast. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, this map here from the Euro and this map here from the GFS are about showing all the rainfall expected from now up until Saturday, February 8th. And we can clearly see that the most endurance rainfall is represented by what we see here on the key on the right. That's the reds into the burgundies that represents 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. That's the purples into the pinks that represents 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be across eastern Cuba, sections of the Dominican Republic, sections of northeastern Jamaica, sections of the Yucatan Peninsula into Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama into Colombia, southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana into Trinidad and Tobago right here. We also see an abundance of rainfall for eastern Puerto Rico into the British Virgin Islands, Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent into sections of Barbados, getting in on some of the action. And we clearly see that it's not only the GFS right here that's showing this, but even the Euromodel that's showing something similar in terms of where the rainfall is expected. And those areas that are going to be receiving those dark reds into the purples and the pinks, those areas could get up to 2 to maybe 4 or 5 inches of rainfall. So there could be some amount of isolated flash flooding taking place in those spots. But if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the next 7 days, clearly the most rainfall should be across the northeast, anywhere from St. Anne eastward, St. Mary, Portland, maybe spilling into sections of St. Andrew, St. Thomas right there. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that the most rainfall should be across Portland, where we see those yellows into oranges representing up to 55 millimeters of rainfall. GFS a bit more robust for the next 7 days, getting all the way up to 83 millimeters of rainfall. Very interesting. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and whatever takes place, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a ridge of high pressure right here to the northwest of Africa that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And to the east of the US, we have a frontal system extending all the way down into portions of Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out this frontal system's clouds stretching all the way from the waters to the east of the US, right here all the way down into portions of Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, just like what we saw on the surface map. And we can make out the low level flow of the low level to mid level clouds pushing from east to west from the main development region into the Caribbean, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right here to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, February 1, 2025. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of eastern Jamaica on Saturday morning, also affecting sections of some southern parishes during Saturday afternoon. And we know eastern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. While southern Jamaica, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 7:06 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted not only here on our Twitter page of Weather Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page of weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page of Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page of Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So looking at the visible satellite image at around 7:06 a.m., we were barely getting in on the sunlight at that point, but I think we can definitely make out the flow of clouds. There was an easterly flow, but most of the clouds and the moisture was coming into sections of northeastern Jamaica as well as section of northern Jamaica. So northern Jamaica was getting on most of the action by that time, so anywhere from St. James eastward, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary into Portland, definitely getting in on some overcast skies, if not some isolated shores at that point, with fair weather on the south coast. And then by around 12:41 p.m. the visible satellite images were posted. So they definitely highlighted the clouds. Look at the flow of the clouds from the east, definitely coming in from the east for sure. And these clouds were bringing overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, sections of most parishes, from St. Thomas into Portland, Kingston, St. Andrew, maybe section of St. Mary, St. Anne, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, section of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland might have gotten in on some of the action. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before we lost the sunlight, we can see that most of the cloud cover was confined to section of southern Jamaica by the end of the day. We don't see much cloud cover on the north, so I guess we could say the late afternoon into the early evening definitely verified with the cloud cover across southern Jamaica, with some isolated showers over there as well. And I definitely got on some of the morning rainfall in my portion of St. Thomas in the east over here. So the forecast was definitely on point in a sense. And if we take a look at the infrared close-up satellite images, we can make out most of the clouds right now towards the west of the island. Taking a look at the Flatbridge camera, we can see that not much was taking place at around 2:40 p.m. in terms of bad weather. Definitely sunny right here, people in their vehicles going about their business. The Rio Cobra definitely chilling as we speak. It's the dry season, so not much rainfall is expected at this time to cause this river to be in spate. Taking a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today. Definitely across northern and eastern Jamaica during the morning, spilling into sections of some central and western parishes during the afternoon, especially the southern side of the island. And we definitely have some comments here from some of our subscribers on our YouTube page and our followers on our other social media platforms. One here from Anne-Marie Robinson, hi 42, stating, good afternoon, just a mixture of sun and cloud, sometimes a little light drizzle on and off in Thornton and St. Elizabeth. Have a wonderful day. I hope you had a wonderful day too, Anne-Maria. We also have Messi B3416 stating raining in Claremont. We also have Warren Barton 5374, just had a rain shower in Greater Portmore. Even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. Edwards Tanisha stating raining in South Manchester and loving it. Chris 2538 LLC stating rain in Sandy Bay, Clarendon. I have to travel in this rain. Even on our Facebook page, we had the comments coming in. Verona Burke stating just as predicted. Even Ruth Johnson stating raining in Mobay. And finally, we have Shade Atkinson stating raining in Maypen. Maureen Vincent stating raining in St. Thomas Eastern. And Gavin Thompson stating it's raining here now in Maypen. Really do appreciate the comments confirming the rainfall in your area. Alright, so let us take a look at what's happening right now according to the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. And the latest still image is showing 0005 UTC, which is actually 7:05 p.m. So this just came out 5, 10, 15 minutes ago. Another one is supposed to come out shortly, showing the 7:15, but we're not seeing much of anything. Just some milky whitish colors right here to the southwest of the island. Nothing significant happening as we speak. Unfortunately, we still have the Cuban Doppler radar glitched out sometime between January 29 and January 30, so we don't have an updated Doppler radar imagery to show. Hopefully the Jamaican Doppler radar gets fixed soon. I haven't checked it in a while. Wonder if it is up and running as yet. Let's find out. Alright, so Meteorological Service of Jamaica, medservice.gov.gov. Let us see if the Doppler radar is up and running yet. Is it working yet? Oh, doesn't seem like it at all. Either way, if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuba naval radar imagery, we can see that there's not much happening across eastern Cuba. Just to the west of Guantanamo, we see some isolated shores. We also see some isolated shores right here to the west of the western peninsula of Haiti. We also see some isolated shores to the northeast of Portland earlier, but nothing really happening right now. Taking a look at the Cayman radar, we can actually make out some of the rain bands associated with these clouds to our southwest. We saw the milky white colors to our southwest, and now the Cayman radar is confirming that there's definitely rainfall within those clouds. We see the blues into the greens, into the slight yellows that represent some weak rainfall into moderate rainfall, as we can see from the key on the right. But clearly Western Jamaica is in the clear, so too southern Cuba and majority of the Cayman Islands. If we take a look at what's happening right now on See Jamaica's YouTube channel, as of 7:24 p.m, we can see that the panoramic city view looking down on, I believe, the road next to the National Stadium. Definitely traffic congested as we speak, not really in focus, but we can see that it is definitely clear. People in their vehicles going about their business, nothing in the way of bad weather as we speak. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure. All you have to do is subscribe, and I'll subscribe today if I were you, because they are planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. I mean, look at this view of Kingston. Look at this view of New Kingston. I think we can see Jamaica Pegasus over here, halfway through in Transport Center, all the way over here. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, or where they should be getting as the night progresses, up to at least 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, or down to at least 25 degrees Celsius. And by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperatures could get down to 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And if we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. And we see Jamaica right here, embedded in some slight orange colors that we can see from the key on the right, that represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures, or at least 2 degrees, maybe 1 to 2 degrees Celsius at most. And we know the average temperatures for the month of February across Jamaica are around 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about the same as maybe 30.1 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Sunday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page, valid for Sunday, February 2, 2025. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way, because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely exacerbate the heat, making it even hotter because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So we're referring to Tredegar Park, if I'm not butchering that place's name, and Waterloo, both in St. Catherine, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And finally, we have Peters Lane from the bus park at South Parade to Barry Street in Kingston from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Either way, we have some tips right here to beat the heat if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you. It states here, when outside, seek shade. Eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day, even if you're not thirsty. Put away those sugar drinks, drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we see dry air all across the entire Atlantic basin. And we see the most dry air right here off the coast of Africa. We have those reds into the whites within those reds. We know the dry air can definitely make the weather be very stable, very difficult for it to rain. But we're looking forward to the least amount of dry air. That's represented by the yellows. Sometimes when we have these yellows, definitely moistening up the atmosphere, if not the blues, especially right here across the waters to the east of French Guiana. That's where we have a lot of moist air associated with the intertropical convergent zone. But if we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, we can definitely make out some slight browns right here, stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region. Some of these slight browns have made it as far, or should be making it by 2 p.m. as far as the Central Caribbean, but it's definitely faint, can't really make it out that well. Either way, some of this could definitely spill into Jamaica by Monday, but most of us won't even notice this because it's not that of a vigorous plume. If it was a vigorous plume, we would see we would see it more colorful in terms of being brown, a vigorous brown shade that we know represents the very hazy skies, and we know that it can definitely trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis, you name it. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can still see that the highest waves should be to the south of Jamaica, where we have those purples into the pinks and burgundies, representing anywhere from 2 to maybe all the way up to 4 meter wave heights. Some of this high wave height extends right here to the east of the Caribbean, as well as affecting the Caribbean islands. The low wave heights across the Gulf of Mexico into the northwestern Caribbean. And that's because of the winds that are expected. Clearly some dull greens into the Gulf of Mexico and northwestern Caribbean, but bright greens into yellows from the eastern Caribbean to the western Caribbean right here, representing anywhere from 15 to 25 knots, maybe even gusting to 30 knots right here to the north of Panama and Colombia. And if we take a look at the waves, to the north of the island of Jamaica, at least up to 1.2 meter wave height. On the south coast, 2.1 right here to the south of Clarendon, 2.1 right here to the south of St. Thomas. And if we take a closer look at the winds that are expected tomorrow, we can see more of a northeasterly flow on the north coast at 12 knots. On the south coast, coming in from the east, averaging 60 knots. And we also see that the air could pile up across sections of some maybe central and western parishes, especially on the south coast right here. So who knows, maybe we might get some isolated afternoon rainfall across those areas. That's where the air usually piles up. That's where we get the afternoon rainfall. Let's see if we actually do get some afternoon rainfall at that time. Either way, the upper level wind still coming in from the west, but we don't have much in the way of moisture in the basin to cause any cumulonimbus clouds to be sheared off towards that direction. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast now. Both maps from the Euro and the GFS weren't showing much in the way of morning rainfall, but the colors started showing up, the slight blue colors that represents rainfall, at around 3 to 4 p.m. on both the Euro and the GFS. The Euro adamant that section of some southern and western parishes, with getting on some isolated shores, maybe section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover. The GFS showing something similar but definitely faint, with the slight blue colors across Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Catherine, more robust with the blue colors that represent rainfall across Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Southern St. James and Hanover. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast from both the Euro and the GFS models. They are both in agreement that there should be some amount of rainfall somewhere in Jamaica tomorrow within the next 24 hours. The Euro a bit more robust with the rainfall totals going all the way up to 0.3 of an inch of rainfall across the east. GFS not so robust, only going up to at least 0.11 of an inch of rainfall across the southwest. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. We're in the month of February now, and in February we usually receive up to at least 19 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay we usually receive up to at least 74 millimeters of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for February or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here to convert the rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some low-level clouds pushing through the eastern Caribbean. Definitely have some moisture within these clouds for sure as they make their way westward. We also see an abundance of moisture right here to the west of Colombia, affecting sections of Panama. We see some isolated shores into portion of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana as well. And the moisture associated with the frontal system into sections of Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery of the northeastern Caribbean, well, it doesn't seem like it wants to load now, but let's look at the Barbados radar in the meantime. Not seeing much activity across Barbados right now, but we do see some moisture to the east and northeast as well as to the north of there. So they could definitely get on some isolated shores tonight if it's not already happening. We also see some rainfall to the west, to the south, to the northwest of there. Definitely pushing into sections of maybe Dominica soon, section of Martinique getting on some of the action as we speak. So to St. Lucia getting on some rainfall right now. St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well. Some rainfall right here to the east of Tobago, definitely pushing westward to affect Trinidad as well. So let's take a look at the northeastern Caribbean. We do see some hit or miss isolated showers across the area, definitely affecting Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda. We also see some rainfall in and around the US and British Virgin Islands, eastern Puerto Rico, northern Puerto Rico, the water between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Loading these images from about 1:40 p.m. today, we can see that eastern to central Puerto Rico, we're definitely getting some isolated shores. So to Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis for sure. And if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can make out some isolated shores across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, affected sections of central to northern Belize, northern Guatemala definitely got some of the moisture too. Not seeing much activity on the ABC Islands radar, but we can clearly see that moisture that we mentioned on the Barbados radar. But regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that these spots should be getting on some isolated shores. We're talking about the Bahamas, where we have those greens into the yellows that we can see from the key on the bottom right. That represents anywhere from 0.2 of an inch all the way up to maybe 0.4 of an inch of rainfall. Section of the Dominican Republic, eastern Puerto Rico, the British Virgin Islands and the US Virgin Islands. Section of the Leeward Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago. And clearly the most rainfall over the next 24 hours should be plaguing these areas into the oranges and the reds, like sections of the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, Belize, sections of southeastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, western Colombia. We can also see some of this moisture affecting sections of Guyana, Suriname, and especially French Guiana as well. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. And we know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.